Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing? You know what? I feel like everyone's on this side, but it's fine. We'll get it started. I'm pretty sure more folks will trickle in. Um, Let me just let's hear. Our panelists are here. Diana's here. Awesome. How's the food? Yeah? Good. Good, good, good. All right, so we'll get started right on time at 6:30 with our panel discussion. It's such a pleasure to be here with you all. My name is Rachel Antoine. I am one of the manager of external affairs for the JFK Redevelopment Program. My partner, Akshar Patel, is doing some amazing work today. Couldn't be here with you all tonight, and he extended his greetings. And you all know who Mr. Patel is, right? So, my partner in crime. Welcome to the Jamaica Community Information Center for the JFK program. This is where we do all things related to the 19 billion redevelopment of JFK Airport, connecting businesses as well as connecting with the community. This is the Outreach Center. And before we begin, I just want to give a shout out to the team who's here. We have Hirsch Barek in the house, the man of the hour. We've had the opportunity of being under Hirsch's leadership. He's the one leading this great team from the Port Authority. A team of what? How many, Hirsch? But he's been doing such an amazing job making sure that we are pushing forward on this project. We also have, and we also have Natasha Turner in the house, who's been leading this effort for us, who put this amazing work together. Just want to say thank you. Our amazing Bridget, I was going to say Mama Bree, but she doesn't want me to call her that in public. But the food that you see here, it's all her. So I definitely want to take the time to thank her. Also want to thank Carl and everyone who's here. And this food is Black owned. This is Black History Month. So we want to thank Simply Catering for catering this event for us too as well. Before we begin, I would love to bring one of our partners to bring greetings, Kevin Alexander from our DRC.
Oh, I guess I can't go from here. I got to come over there.
And our super intern, EJ, who's been doing such an amazing job here with us. And we're very excited to have him here. If you receive lots of emails, it was from him. So thank you, EJ, for all of the work that you've been doing.
Thank you, Rachel. Mike just said.
Well, good evening, everybody. How you doing?
Good.
All right, we got here. I found parking. There's no snow outside. We good. And the food is good. So, again, my name is Kevin Alexander. I'm one of the co-chairs of the JFK Advisory, specifically the Career and Workforce Development. But as we always talk about, as your businesses grow, there's also opportunities to expand your workforce. And so one of the roles that we try and play is not just with RDRC, but with all the partners in workforce throughout Southeastern Queens, is to make certain that we're finding you the best qualified employees you can have. So we talk about customer service, we talk about retail, we're beginning to talk about hospitality and customer service and concierge service as what we need to do to make certain that as you grow those opportunities at JFK and Southeastern Queens, that you have the representation of your brand, your name, and your values. And so it is a natural correlation between Justin and I, him being the co-chair of the business side and the workforce side, working really closely together with JFK Redevelopment, Port Authority, and all of you. And it's really good to be here because you see so many familiar faces in the public sector, the private sector, the not-for-profit sector, but we're all working together. And so that's the main thing. So as Di and I talk about, it really is an ecosystem. You talk about Southeastern Queens and how we work together to make certain that the money that's made and invested in Southeastern Queens stays in Southeastern Queens right here. So that's the biggest challenge for us, is making certain that we support you because you're going to hire locally, you're going to consume locally, you're going to purchase locally, and we want to make certain that you feel comfortable in your setting, in your environment as you're growing your business. Thank you so much, everybody.
All right, so let's get started. So tonight we are gathering here for an important celebration. It is Black History Month. Welcome to the JFKR Fireside Chat here. But we gather here to honor the achievements of Black entrepreneurs who have successfully navigated the aviation industry and secure their place as concessionaires as the new world-class JFK Airport following the completion of the historic $19 billion redevelopment program of JFK. Just a brief of a background, JFK redevelopment is not just about transforming an airport, it's about community building, betterment, as well as economic inclusion. Through strategic partnerships, organization like Greater Jamaica, as well as RDRC, we've had like initiatives with JFK Institute of Concessions that you're going to get to hear a bit more later on to ensure that, you know, small local businesses and diverse businesses are truly represented through this program. So with that being too long, I just want to take the moment to introduce our amazing panelists who are here. Can we give a round of applause to them? So tonight you have the privilege of hearing from Keyshawn Warren, who is the owner of Brooklyn Blend. Come on up, Keyshawn. And we have Amir Danielson, who is the owner of Beautiful Amore Skincare. We are also joined by Loyson Gordon, the owner of Near Shimmer. And last but not least, Diana Rose, the force behind the IOC program.
The picture, your other toy.
You know what? I know that we are in alignment tonight because all of us have green.
I did green.
Oh, there you go, on the shoes. Right, in honor of Black History Month, I knew this was going to happen. I was deciding whether or not I was going to do brown or green, but we are on the right path. All right, so we'll get this panel started. So this amazing panelists that you're seeing here, it's actually amazing success stories that you'll get to hear, and something that we're very big on this project is to make sure that not only we're highlighting the success of this program, but also highlighting small businesses to ensure that folks like you are having the opportunity to have the one-on-one time with them to hear of their stories, right? So whoever walks through the door, this could be you one day, right? Don't forget that, right? So it's very important not only that we're showcasing the work that's being done here, but also show you the actual routes and the journey that these folks have taken so that you may be inspired to continue with your journey too as well. Well, very well, dive right into the questions. My head's ready. My head's ready. I got it. All right, Keyshawn, this first question for you. What inspired you? So if you could just introduce the team, who you are a bit, and introduce your business.
Hi, everyone. Firstly, thank you for coming and joining us today. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to be here with us. So I appreciate that you're here to hear our stories and the challenges and successes that we're having. So my name is Keyshawn Warren. I am the proud owner of Brooklyn Blend, the best juice bar, the dopest juice bar in Brooklyn. And hopefully it'll be beyond
You
Brooklyn.
hear the pitch, right? Take notes.
But we started the business 9 years ago. Initially started from my parents, but since then we've just had such an enormous and tremendous amount of success being in our communities, seeing the support from the communities, and it our mission evolved over time. It evolved into serving communities nutrition with kindness. So even building our second location, our first location was in East Bed-Stuy. Our second location was in East New York. And building that location was such a passion of mine because we built it under the train tracks, across the street from a methadone clinic. And I remember when I was building the store, individuals from the neighborhood were saying, "Why are you building this here? This is too nice for this neighborhood. It belongs downtown." Our own community was saying that to me. So it resonated to me and it made me understand why it's even more important to have spaces, not just providing healthy options, but providing a safe space where we can be human to each other, be more community to each other. And that's our vision, that's our mission to expand what we're doing, having healthy options in communities that doesn't have that affordability to have healthy options and killing that mental stigma that we don't deserve what the other communities have. So that's our brand, and having the opportunity to be in the airport just amplifies what we're doing in the community. And I'm just proud to be here. I'm happy to be here amongst you guys.
Awesome.
Thanks, Kate. Amira, so tell us about your business, your brand, what you offer, and what makes it unique.
So, hi guys. Many of you guys met me already, and some of you have not. My name is Amira Brown slash Danielson. Um, I am the proud owner of Beautiful Amore Skincare, the vegan skincare company, and I started my business about 20 years ago. So I started actually I want to say maybe like high school. And at 15 years old, I took culinary art. That was a dream of mine, and to cook for people. And I also took cosmetology. And then at home, I learned about the power of herbs, natural herbs, and medicine from my mom. And I want to say about 2004, she passed away. And after that, I of course I wanted to find a way where I can honor her legacy of teaching me about the power of herbs and natural remedies and things like that, along with my love for cooking and my love for cosmetology, which I used to do people's hair and make people look good. So I said, you know what? I can make people look good, smell good, and also help heal people with eczema. People who have all types of skin issues, people who are subconscious about their skin. Because one thing I noticed is that when you look at somebody and when your first impression, a lot of times with the skin, if you have an issue, you're going to be self-conscious about it. And for me, I help heal people of that issue, and they take what I give them through my product, and they put it to use, and that part of self-care is part of mental health and wellness. So that's me. Thank you.
Thank you. And Loisa, tell us everything behind the brand.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me a platform to share and to pay it forward for so much that I've been given throughout my life. There's so much stuff that's happening in this world, and we could be everywhere. But this Black History Month, it was so important for me to put all that aside and say, maybe I can help. And so that's why I'm here today. My name is Loiston Gordon, the Jamaican with the funny name. Only one in the world that I know of named Loisent. I guess my parents wanted to be different, not do the traditional Winston thing. But I digress. I own one of America's oldest taverns. It's called Near's Tavern, located in Woodhaven, Queens, established in 1829. And we celebrated 195 in October. And we served classic American bar and grill food right there in Woodhaven. They always ask me, why did this silly Jamaican took over one of America's oldest taverns? Well, America gave me a lot. And I said, what if this Jamaican kid can save one of America's oldest taverns? And so I jumped in to help and try to figure out how to run a bar and restaurant. And 15, 16 years now, here I am. So many places I've seen open and close. And I wonder, well, why do I still exist? I didn't have all this experience. But it all goes back to a passion for what you're doing and why you're doing it. Why did I do it? I started looking back and how community helped me. When I came here at 10 years old, unfortunately in fourth grade, I discovered that I couldn't read and write. But there was a few teachers that said, I'm going to help this kid. And they actually surrounded me and they actually say, we're going to like work a plan specifically for you. Instead of putting you into that dunce class that they normally do, not think I was backwards. It's just that I couldn't read and write. I wasn't less than. I just didn't have the opportunity for the education. But the plan worked. And so when I graduated elementary school, I graduated top of my class. And I remember, thank you. Good. But the one thing I said that because the one thing I remembered was the entire auditorium rising up and applauding because I didn't realize they were following my story. And it was almost like I was their kid. That's how much they kind of followed me and said, this kid is going to learn. And I did, PS 116, not too far from here. And I said, one of Michael's oldest town was going to close, I said, this is my opportunity to give back to America. And I could have did the whole Jamaican food thing and Caribbean thing. And although I'm very proud of that heritage, Bob Marley's on here and my colors are here. I said, what brings us together as Americans? And it was all American burger. And so we have specialized in the classic American burger, and a classic American bar, because either we're from Jamaica, Ethiopia, Africa, Caribbean, Thailand, all this that Queens is known for. At the end of the day, the classic American burger brings us together as Americans. And so that's why I made Nearest Tavern more of a classic American place to bring uh, everyone together and surround that table over the one food that we can agree on is America. And so I'm glad to bring Nearest Tavern hopefully into the 200th anniversary in 2029 through the Road to 200 initiative. And I'm glad that all of you guys are given the opportunity to actually expand and make Nearest Tavern more resilient to get to 200th anniversary with all these opportunities that we're going to talk about. Because this is my way of giving back. And hopefully I pour some of that funds back into the local community that I try to serve, especially right here in Queens, Jamaica, Queens, where I got that education as a young 10-year-old.
Diana.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and so happy that you could make it out. I know, what is today? Today's Monday? Yeah, today's Monday. Coming out on a Monday evening is always difficult. So, your presence here means everything. Honored to be sitting here amongst this panel. It's amazing how I can hear your story 1,000 times and I learn something new, or I'm just still captivated by what it is that you do. So I pray that I never lose that wonder of your story because it's absolutely beautiful. Thank you to the JFK Redevelopment, the whole team here. I love you all. Got one of my first starts here. I'm catering my first company, Jars of Delight. And I truly have to say to God be the glory for the opportunity to serve my community in this way. Started out, not really wanting to do community S type of work. I thought I was going to be a medical doctor. Still may be. I'm still pretty young. I could probably still get it done. But I was pre-med when I took a course in chronic and communicable diseases at Hofstra. And that day, my life changed because I realized that everything I was learning in that course was a reflection of my community. Born and raised here in Southeast Queens, was born at the previous Mary Immaculate Hospital down the road. So I can truly say that I am a Southeast Queenser. But what I was learning in that course that day was everything that I was seeing in my community, right? Chronic and communicable diseases, lack of funding, lack of this, lack of that. And I'm like, why is this so familiar? And no shade to anybody in my class, but no one really looked like me at the time. And they didn't come back to Southeast Queens. They were going to Suffolk, right? And the idea that I had an opportunity to make a difference in that moment, I didn't know what I was going to do, to be very honest. My family thought I was crazy. They're like, what are you going to do with a degree in community health? But I just knew that God was pulling me in a direction and I just trusted him. And long story short, all these years later, I've been blessed to serve here in our community in so many different ways. And I'm so blessed because I know a lot of you here in this room. And that just speaks to what Kevin was saying, right? Our ecosystem here. And currently am leading as facilitator, the JFK Redevelopment Institute of Concessions. And yes, you can clap for that. You can clap for that. And it's been such a blessing, more so for the businesses, but more so for me. I also went through an RFP process to be selected to facilitate this. And again, it just shows the beauty of community and building ecosystems. So we'd be here for all night if I really had to go into depth. But just talking about my current capacity and why I'm here tonight as the facilitator of the Institute of Concessions, a project that I love with every fiber of my being. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Diana. I think what we've heard right now are stories of resilience and beginning. And just building up upon that, I think why we're here, one of the major factors why we're here is the JFK Project. I'd like to hear from you, Loyson, how did you learn about the JFK program and the opportunity to bring your business to the airport? I think we have many new faces here in firms who would like to hear, the journey, right? So tell us, how did you hear about this program, as well as how did you get your business into the project?
Um, you know, um, I'm a learner. Again, it didn't start off that way as a child, but and I've always been seeking opportunities for this historic tavern. There's so many places that are great places, but still they close. And I'm like, why? Why? You see them pop up, and then there's a for rent sign, then someone else, and there's for rent sign. And I said, that can't be the story of this historic place. If I'm going to help bring this to the 200th anniversary, I need more. There's going to be more information that I have within myself. And so I started looking around and researching and reading and looking, and I keep seeing this thing about JFK, $19 billion. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So let's look for this opportunity for Nearest Tavern. Yeah, 19 billion. Yeah, 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 yeah. But what was happening is this just generational trauma thing of that's not for me. That can't be for me. It's not for us. No, no, no. It's something else. And after seeing this so many times, the answer was looking at me, staring at me right in the face. And I went out to Queensborough Hall, one of the events you guys were having.
You remember the name? Success story.
Yeah, they,
The event.
I don't remember
I'm
specifically,
kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead.
but just going there, and I saw people around. The place was full, and then I started talking to people, and they would ask you for a question. What's a question? And so yeah, listen, I didn't know much. I stood up. I said, I have a question.
Mm.
I was like, yeah, I get that, but is the juice worth the squeeze? Because you're saying all this, you put all this energy, and how many times they promise you so many things, and it feels like they just never deliver, right? And so I was coming from that space, and you remember, and people look at me like, yeah. And it wasn't just me. Afterwards, so many people.
This IOC outreach event.
Was it? Yeah. And but I came to realize that it is for real. And I followed up, and once I started getting that belief in, I went all in, going to every event that you guys put together, like every event. I was there. And from that, I started meeting different people, saw them 2 times, 3 times. And when you go to these events and you go to enough of them, it's almost like, oh, hey, what's up? It's almost like you know everybody, you know? And so that's how I started getting the first opportunity to discuss how Nearest Tavern could take part in that. And it was also just sharing the story of what we're trying to do with Nearest Tavern. So yeah, hopefully I answered
No,
the
this
question.
was great. This was great. I think three things the audience should capture here. You mentioned generational trauma, all in, right? Two keywords: generational trauma and all in. I think these two words make so much sense. And I think before we even dive into this particular space, it's very important that we understand the barriers, right? And I think just to not take away from our panelists here, this is why this work was extremely important for the Port Authority, right? Putting these outreach events together, putting these information sessions together, right? So first of all, he had to bypass the mindset and then go all in. So thank you so much for sharing that. And Amira, I'd love to hear your story too as well. And take notes. I'm taking notes, everyone. Generational trauma as well as all in.
Okay, so my story is a little different. I was going on a trip and I was heading to Atlanta. I travel everywhere. I travel everywhere. So I'm on I think it was Terminal 5, and I kept seeing a new JFK, a new JFK. And I'm like, a new JFK. Maybe that's something maybe I can be a part of the new JFK. Like, this is an opportunity for growth for me, right? In a sense, I was like, I don't know how it's gonna happen. I don't know when or what or where, but let me just start by going to the website. Let me see what's happening, what event they have, where can I go to get information? And I started here, right here, came to the outreach programs, events, and just like Lloyd, just showing your face, showing up, putting yourself in front of the people. And, again, it's so important to just show up, because when you show up, you will find that you'll learn so much, you get so much information, and you'll be able to take it back, and then you'll process and analyze and say, is this for me? It's not for me. Can I try? And I loved everything that I was hearing, especially being as how this JFK is right in our backyard. I belong here. I belong there, and that's the attitude that I took. Of course, it didn't always start out that way. You have the doubt, like, how do I cross that threshold? And that's where the IOC program came in for me. I learned about the IOC program by coming to one of the events here. So
Under this program, we do have a lot of different initiatives for businesses, education, workforce development, as well as environmental stewardship, right? Under our business development program, we had an amazing initiative by the Port Authority Institute of Concession. And one of the person who was selected for this program was Diana. So Diana, please tell us, can you share how you got involved in the project, one, and also what does it mean for you to take on this role?
So that's a good question. So one of my mentors sent me the RFP, the request for proposal, when it had gone out. And I'm not gonna lie, when I read it, I was like, I am doing way too many things, don't need anything else to do. But as I really read through the request for proposal, I said, this isn't just about you. This is an opportunity to kind of tie in everything that you were doing. So at that time, was leading a farmers market at the Long Island Railroad, Laurelton Long Island Railroad, had just opened up a commercial kitchen. And so many times I've heard so many businesses say, we love opportunities. We love opportunities, but we don't know how to get them. We love opportunities. So I applied. But I didn't just apply. I applied by submitting a video of some of the work that we were doing. And I felt like I need to stand out as much as possible for this opportunity. And I'm not going to lie, I was so humbled when they selected me because I went up against larger organizations than myself. But I just really believed that at the time that my heart was the reason why I won, because to this day, I still have the same fervor and alacrity to get the job done, to get to businesses, to see our local businesses take hold of this opportunity. And I would say that it started really in 2019 at a symposium that the Port Authority had at Borough Hall, right? So we were there, I'm hearing all of this information, and I'm saying, oh, this sounds good. And that part, does anyone have a question? I didn't really have a question, but I said, you know what? Let me just ask something. And I asked the question. Hirsch does this story so much better than I do. I'm not doing it justice. But I went up to the panel and I asked my question in front of the panel. And I think at that point, I just knew like, okay, I want to be involved. I didn't know how at the time, but again, pandemic happened and fast forward to 2023, is it? And applied. And, again, to God be the glory, I was selected. And again, I still have the same passion from that first day, from that first cohort. They still keep me up at night. So that's how I got involved. And it's been one of the best experiences of my life.
Awesome. Sean, we know that you're a graduate of the ISU program that we just heard about. How did you prepare yourself to enter the airport concession space?
You want the real story, huh?
Yes.
I think as business owners, even in our community, we doubt ourselves a lot. And when it comes to seeing a vision for where we can be or where we can go, it's always a mental block. And that goes, there's so many things you can associate that with, right? Our environment, history, but there's always that block. When it was proposed to me to be a part of the IOC, that block came right away. The airport, no, I'm not ready for the airport. That was the first thing that came to me. There was no other, um, there's nothing else. I'm not ready. I don't belong there. And let me tell you, having a community, having people around you that can push you, it's so important. And I'm not going to put her on blast, but there's someone sitting here today, Tyre Middleton, and she went ahead and applied. Actually, Suzette came into my space a couple of times and asked me about it. And I'm playing with her. I'm like, yeah, I'll look into it. But in my mind, I'm not ready for the airport. And Tyre went ahead and applied without me knowing. And the week before, it's Tuesdays, Thursdays. You have to dedicate 2 hours every single day for this class. And as an entrepreneur, right? Tuesday, Thursday, 2 hours? No, that's impossible. That's impossible. Yeah, and plus traveling. You have to. It's yes. In person. So there's no Zoom. You know, put the Zoom on and you keep doing what you do, which most of us do. But T went ahead and applied without me, uh, without me knowing, and I cannot thank her more than enough for that, because I wouldn't be sitting here with you guys if she didn't do that. But she saw beyond that block that I had for myself. She saw the opportunity and she saw what we can do as a brand. And being in the IOC, my eyes were just open. I'm like, wow. Um, Diana, you guys, Hirsch, you guys welcomed us with open arms, like a family, telling us where to go, who to speak to, um, and really poured into us as business owners. You know, any question that I had, anything, you guys just poured into us, and for that I'm very grateful. I don't think I would be here if it wasn't for her, if it wasn't for this program, and if it wasn't for everyone that put this program together. So thank you for that.
Awesome, awesome. Amira, this is for you. We're still in the topic of IOC, and I think it's as we're talking about Black History Month, and we know the diverse challenges that we face as small business owner too as well. But specifically to the IOC, can you walk us through an experience in the IOC program and what was like the most valuable lesson that you've learned?
Oh my God. I will have to say the RFP. First of all, I didn't know what an RFP was before I got into the IOC programs, and I felt like that just having the opportunity to stand in front of a panel and we put together this elaborate RFP and we presented it to, and then we were being graded on top of that, graded and timed, and it really, really opened my eyes as to like, wow, this, this is a lot. This is a lot, and it's very challenging, but it really gave me hope and it gave me a sense of gumption. Like I can do this. I feel like I think we got one of the highest grades, didn't we? We we without and it was fun. But that moment when we got in front of the panel, I was shaking in my boots. I really was, and the fact that they reassured us and just like gave us all of the knowledge that we needed to put forth. I feel, and I'm just going to be bold and say this, I feel like um, every business should go through the IOC program before they go into the airport space, because it gave us so much information from soup to nuts, from A to Z. And it was so much information that I feel like it's like a university, like you've paid a tuition just to get this knowledge, and no one can take this knowledge away. You can take this wherever you go, And I'm very grateful. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't go through the IOC program, and Diana, listen. I was so sad when I left, we graduated. I was like, you mean we can't come back? I didn't know what to do on Tuesday and Thursday. I was like, I need to go back just to say hi. But even just remember when they welcomed us with the clapping hands, you guys really made us feel special. And I don't know, but I love you guys. I really love what you guys did for us because you guys are helping us build a legacy. You're helping us, and this is why I invited my son here so he can see, he's young, he's 18, who knows what he wants to do in his life. But I want him to see that there's so much out here you can do, and there are organizations that love and care for us as a people.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. There's some amazing keywords here: mentorships, family, going all in. Loisa, this question is for you. And I think just you mentioning that your son is here and this tie right into the question that I have. What role did mentorship as well as networking play in your success? And I think for the businesses who are here, it's really important that they can hear that this question is for Loisa.
So just repeat what role has mentorship had in
As well as networking in the success of your business.
Yeah, so I just want to make it clear that I firmly believe there's no real silver bullet. There's just a makeup of all these different things that ladder up to you getting to the goals, and so there was a series of different people and programs and opportunities that got me closer to this goal of being in JFK and uh, making sure that this tavern is more resilient uh, with these business opportunities. But one person is actually not in New York, but there was a webinar that was happening as I was searching for information. And he was from LA, and he was talking about, you guys should know about AMAC. So AMAC is a company, an organization that oversees or put together minority business owners that operate in the airport as an advocacy organization. So he represents the West Coast chapter, and I saw him one day. He was talking about being in the airport and how he went from being a hotel manager and someone told him about the airport thing, and then eventually he got in there, and then he made so much money he left the management of the hotel to actually operate fully. And I stalked him, like literally stalked him on LinkedIn, found his name, requests, and then all those messages you get on LinkedIn sometimes from random people and just, you want to buy this? I was that guy. And I kept stalking him and like, hey, what's going on? I saw you there. And he said, well, I'm actually heading to New York soon. I was like, I'll pick you up from the airport. I said, he got to tell his story. He was like, Dad, it's okay. I'm like, it's okay. I'm going to New York. And, but anyway, he became a very, very good mentor to me. There was so much stuff that I didn't know, and I wish I was able to get into IOC, but I was just trying to grab as much information from him as possible. And he was so grateful after he realized I wasn't a psycho, to actually say, all right, this guy's a real deal. And I even showed him pictures and videos of me in the newspapers. Like, I don't like doing that. I'm very self-conscious, but that was the only way to show him that I'm not, some psycho. Especially when I say, why do I did that? And we met him at one of the outreach events. I talked to him, and so I drove him to the restaurant. We talked. He became one of the strongest mentor to me, and he's amazing, awesome. So I really want to point to him, and when I had a lot of questions, and hopefully one day I get into IOC and actually not have to stalk people anymore. But that has contributed tremendously to the success and me moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you. This deserves a round of applause for stalking people.
If you
Akeisha.
know what you want, You gotta go after it.
Yes.
You know, when there's when there is, I'm telling you, when your passion is strong enough, you'll find a way. You know, so that's just my mentality. Um,
So, Keyshawn, this question is also for you too as well. In your story, you talked about your parents leading the business and you taking over. Can you walk with us or share with any firms who are here your experience or certain challenges that you faced as a business owner too as well?
Challenges, yes. I have one for today. Um, so as you guys know, I started the business 9 years ago. And the motivation behind starting was to retire my parents. I migrated here when I was 8 years old from Trinidad. And I've always seen my parents work very hard, rarely taking any time off, and just to make a better life for us. So as a financial advisor, I looked into their finances and I said to myself, no, something is wrong. We got to fix this. So Brooklyn Blend was made specifically to help fund my parents' retirement and make sure that they're good for their retirement. Um, it's way beyond that now. It's way beyond that. And the journey for us has been, for me, has been such a fulfilling thing for me. The spaces, we didn't have enough money to build the first store. I used my life savings and I begged my father, who is Trinidadian. So most Trinidadians can actually build homes with a hand and no tools. So I asked him to help me build the store, and we actually gathered items around that time, which is 2016. Brooklyn was going through this huge construction phase. So we gathered a lot of wood, a lot of materials from around Brooklyn, and we repurposed it back into the store, our first location, and decided to do that for the second location. Now, I didn't plan on opening a second location, but um, just the impact that we were having in the community, um, I started veering my career from financial advising into managing a store in Bed-Stuy, where we were teaching kids on how to eat healthy, having workshops, having community come in and just gather. And in fact, there were 3 weddings out of Brooklyn Blend, 3 weddings from people that met into our spaces. So just the impact that we were having, just
Who's going there?
all the singles, the single indies. Just the impact that we're having in the community just gave me more of a drive to do more. East New York, one of the other neighborhoods that I service as a financial advisor, I would travel outside of East New York to eat every time. So when the opportunity came across to open the second location in East New York, we jumped on it. Again, we didn't have a lot of money, but we did the same process. Used reclaimed wood, repurposed it back in the store, and we repurposed it back in the store, and we just thrived that way. And again, many people in the community did not understand why we were building such a beautiful space. If you guys want to go on to brooklynblend.com, you'll see the beautiful photos that we have, but no one understood why. For me, it was confusing. So that's why we decided to change our mission to really be impactful and go into communities. Our next big project is in Bronxville. We're looking to open a space there. Coney Island is another community that needs healthy options. As far as challenges, you guys know every day there's challenges in businesses, right? From the moment you wake up to and it's not the challenges, is how you react to it. I'm learning to understand. There's always going to be challenges. Going into the airport, I can imagine. Don't laugh like that. I can only imagine the challenges, but I'm accepting of it. I understand the impact that that is going to have on what we're doing street side, and again, amplifying what we're doing. Right, that's going to give us the opportunity to go beyond Brooklyn. Right, go national and even international.
You're the
So
national and international.
So remember that cloud that I had? Oh, that's gone.
Mm.
That's gone. And you guys gave me the opportunity to go beyond that. So again, thank you.
Wow, that was amazing. Diana, being a leader of IOC, what were some challenges, biggest challenge that you faced running the program, and how did you ensure the success of the program? Because we've had about 3 graduations now.
I think the biggest challenge is not being able to accept everybody. We are a small cohort of 15, between 15 to 20 businesses. And that's the hardest part, right? Because we get people to sign up and we get businesses to apply, but it's because we're such a intentionally small cohort. We want to be able to provide the touch point and just that feel like you feel when you're there that someone really cares. We know you, we know your businesses. And I think that's the challenge, right? We wish we could have larger cohorts, but then you lose that essence and you lose that sense of being able to support the businesses. And it's more of a quality versus quantity vision that the Port Authority has and has tasked me with. So I think that's the biggest, because then you see folk and they're like, well, I applied. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. You have a great business, but we only can do 15. So that is the biggest challenge that I feel like I've seen so far. And the other challenge is realistically in relation to the opportunities that are coming out that are beyond the IOC's control, is ensuring that, the businesses that we bring in can find a opportunity, right? So it may not look like a licensing deal like Kashawn is doing. It may not look like a kiosk opportunity that Amira has successfully, secured, but is trying to find the opportunities that are there for the businesses in the program. So I think that has been the challenges. And apart from that, with I don't think I don't have any more challenges. I think that's the biggest one. And again, just wanting to build a better program every cohort, right? Learning on what we've done successfully and being transparent and honest about what we didn't do successfulully or could have done better. I think that's where it is. But just not being able to accept everybody is our biggest challenge. Yeah.
Awesome. Amazing. Like, so I mean, the reason why we are staying on the IOC program, the success that we are seeing right now, and there's more to come to as well. And Hirsch, I'm going to give you the opportunity to speak to the amazing uh, venture that both Brooklyn Brand as well as Loyson has with Terminal 6 and the other terminal. But I think what you guys are seeing here are actual story and also success story that are currently happening right now. But I think the IOC has been the bridge for all of this to happen, right? And it's important that not only that we recognize the source of certain things, but where it all started. So to you, I just want to hear a bit more, not from an IOC perspective. You could tie that together, but also what are some challenges that you're facing as a Black entrepreneur, and how did you overcome that with IOC?
Okay, I will say this. Okay, I started way back a couple of, I want to say more than 10 years ago, selling product out of my car downtown Brooklyn. And when I tell you manifestation is real, right? I used to envision myself, mind you, I'm on social media. Hey, I'm going to be at this place or that place in the parking lot. Come meet me. And, you know, my people, they come and they support. Um, and the biggest challenge for me, though, was obtaining financial backing, and no matter how many times I apply, I would get denied, and I would have to work. At that time, I worked for Amtrak. I worked 2 full-time jobs just to fund my business, Amtrak and Columbia University full-time, plus working my business. And I remember, and this is how, just coming into the IOC and all that, it was um, just a dream for me to be able to come into the airport, come into the IOC, and then have the opportunity to be in an airport space where I always said, I want to be global. I want to have my business in front of a large audience. And I just didn't know how it was going to happen. But I always spoke it. I always said, this is the vision I have. And I believe God is going to give it to me, but it's not without work. It's not going to be without challenges. And I feel like um, when you have a passion and when you have a vision, you have to just keep going, keep pushing. And it's not, and to Keyshawn's point, it's not how you fall down, but it's how you get up. And you have to keep getting up. And as business owners, we learn how to be resilient. We learn how to pivot, especially 2020 COVID. So many, I was afraid. So many businesses and like 20, 30-year businesses went under and I was still standing, so for me, I don't know. It's nothing but by the grace of God that I'm still here, and I keep pushing. And I just want to be able to get the backing and get the funding to be able to grow and continue on. Same way um, Loy said, just continue. Oh yeah.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. It's interesting that you're talking about funding. A part of this panel discussion, we partner with Greater Jamaica to speak to some funding information, but we do know this is one of the critical aspects that small businesses face, right? Especially talking about the starting up, right? Getting the capital to keep things going. So I trust and believe that Hirsch will also speak to the ESD funding as well. You have to do a close-up session, Hirsch, right? Right, but we have some important and some information coming down the pipeline too as well, because as part of this program, we're always working with our DRC. Kevin, what can we do? Because we do see the challenges here too as well. We have the businesses who walk through here. Many of them needs help with their certification, right? Amira, I believe you got your certification through here too as well. You're in the process of getting your ACDBE, right? So all of that is happening here, and this is what brings us here too as well. So we have to not only identify the challenges, but also the resources and how we can better connect folks and actually bring them along on the journey. So we're very excited for that too. We are concluding this panel, but I do have a question, not a question, for a statement more so for you, Diana. If you were to leave here as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a Black woman too in the field, highlighting the celebration of Black History Month, what would you share with the firms who are here if they were not to see you ever again?
Oh, okay.
Like you're still alive.
The pressure. I'm still here, but not like here. I think I would share. That's that. I wasn't prepared for that. Okay. I think I would
Tweaked it a
share.
little.
Yes, you did. I think I would share in terms of believing in your business, but more so doing the research. A lot of the opportunities that are here, and then I hear people say, "Oh, I didn't know." Didn't hear. It's because a lot of it is a lack of research. There's a lot of resources happening, especially during this season, during this redevelopment. So I would say do your due diligence, and if you can't do the research, as in finding specifically, sorry, finding. I'm so sorry. My impulsive action just took over my mind. If you can't, just reach out to a greater Jamaica Development, reach out to RDRC, reach out to the JFK Redevelopment Center, right? Find me, right, and just ask the questions and do the research, and just really do that because the opportunities are here, depending on what, and be willing to see, as I tell people, see the opportunity within the opportunity, because sometimes what you may be going for is not for you. But if you are able to see the opportunity within the opportunity, then success can look like many things. So I think that's what I would leave. And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask some of my IOC graduates that are here tonight to just stand so I can acknowledge you. Please stand. Thank you. Hadisa, Honey. Thank you so much. And I'd also be remiss if I didn't ask one of our mentors to stand here. I'm going to put you on the spot. Please stand, one of our IOC mentors, because we are truly a family, and, just wanted to acknowledge your presence here. And thank you for the work that you've put in as business owners. And thank you for the support as a mentor for your third time going on fourth, because I saw the confirmation email. So thank you so much for, even if you didn't, now you got to. Thank you so much for the support. But yeah, that's what I would leave. Look for the opportunity within the opportunity.
Thank you. Loyson, what advice would you give to Black entrepreneurs looking to secure work at the airport?
I think the same thing I kind of tell my son. He's 8. Just start by helping someone. Just that's what I generally kind of. I know I could say a million things, but for me, it boils down with just help someone. Maybe it's having to pick them up from the airport, but you're offering to help someone. I think there's a difference between being a magnet and being a maggot. Be a magnet, you know, by telling your story well, being of value, um, and just don't be a maggot. Just try to grab things. If you are reaching out, make sure you're reaching out to help, and somehow that begets opportunities. I didn't plan on all of this. There was no grand scheme of like I'm going to do this and then this. It was just purely, hey, I'm just here to help. I'm here to help save this historic tavern. One thing leads to the next. Next thing you know, I'm having 2 licensing deals in JFK, 3 joint ventures, and looking to see how I can acquire that property and bring it to 200th anniversary. So help someone, be a magnet, not a maggot.
Be a magnet, not a maggot. Amira, same question there.
Uh, I will start by saying, look inside of yourself. Find out who you are and what makes you tick. You know, because I find that a lot of time, our passion lies in our childhood. You know, some of the things that we've done, we've enjoyed from childhood, and you bring that forward, and here you are, you're solving a problem. You know, you're changing the world by just being you. So look inside of yourself, spend time with yourself, cultivate yourself, and you will find your next adventure. Yes.
Sure. I like that.
That makes sense.
Um, I do everything with intention. There has to be an intention, and money cannot be it. You know, at the end of the day, we're all here for the final goal of making money, right? But there has to be an intention behind what we're doing, because when you're faced with a challenge, right, you're not going to get through it. You're not going to. And I feel, you know, to speak to Loyson, a lot of businesses go into business for making money. There's no vision, there's no mission behind why they're there. Um, and I think once you have that intention, the money's going to follow. Once you have a culture within your business, the money's going to follow. There are many times they try to keep me away from the store because I give things away. Oh, my father's even worse. My father opened a coconut stand and he's just giving out coconuts. I'm like, Pops, you can't. You gotta. um, because you know it comes back to threefold. You know, so you know, like you said, I'm gonna take your words. Definitely help people out, but do it with intention. Our community is so dope, aren't we? Look at us. We are so dope. And when we come together as a unit, as one, oh man, sky's the limit. And I'm realizing that more and more so when I work with the community. It is so dynamic. So intention, work with the community, and it's going to come back to you.
Awesome. Can we get a round of applause for our panelists? Tonight's conversation has been nothing more than just community, empowerment, Black history, Port Authority, small businesses. I think this is all worth celebrating, right? Sitting here in this room to hear the stories of Diana, Loyson, Amira, Keyshawn. This should also inspire you to move on. And don't give up, right? So if there are some key themes that I've heard here is community, empowerment, family, What else? Hope, network, research, resilience. What else? Mentorship. Maybe. One key word as well. There's one more that's very important before we end. Stocking. Right, so really, these are all key words, right? And if we were, we're not going to pick them up from the airport, but I think if I were to dive into the word stalking, I think really come here, connect with me. Ask Akshar. We have our folks from Art Wilkins here too as well. Crescent Consultant. We have our DRC and the Rockaways. This is where we actually need the support and the resources, right? And it's such an amazing opportunity for you guys to be here. And I just want to take the time to thank you all. Can we get another round of applause for Keyshawn, Amira, Loiset, and Diana? And before we wrap up, I'm going to call the man of the hour, my boss. Like I always like to put him on the spot. Can we give a round of applause to Hirsch as well? He will conclude. Yes, please, everyone. And I always take the time to do that. And I think it's really important. I have a mentor, not of mine. Well, he's a virtual mentor. He says it's always important to honor. Because honor means a lot. It takes you a long way. And I think in this era where our younger generation here, we take things for granted and we don't say this honor a lot. So during Black History Month, Hirsch, I really want to say that I honor all the work that you have been doing, right? Creating space for Black women. And his team is full of women, by the way, right? Black women, right? So this says something about the project, right? Bridget, Natasha, myself, the opportunity that you have provided for us to be here. And also you mentioned that too as well, right? So we really want to take the time to honor you. So there's a reason why I put you on the spot as well. And I always love to do that for my mentors and folks who have also paved the way. So Hirsch, take it away. Yep.
I try to come to these events just to listen and really be an attendee. Right? Like I have nothing written down, nothing prepared. I see Rachel has all these notes. I'm like, where are my notes? But what a phenomenal chat this evening. We should have like a fake fireplace here, so we could make it a true fireside chat, right? But no, when the outreach team came up with this idea, this concept, I was like, this is perfect, right? Like we can tie it to the airport, we can celebrate strong Black entrepreneurs, and really help bring some education and formation to the community. But there is one point that didn't come across today, and I want to emphasize it, which is, I think, really critical, is none of these 4 businesses just received a handout, right? You heard about all the efforts they put in. They went through a competitive process. This was not this was not charity. They earned every single opportunity that they received. And I think that is really, really important. You heard about showing up, right? Being all in, really putting your best foot forward, asking a question even if you don't have a question to ask, right? But just standing up and being recognized, right? And that's been a core mission of our outreach program, of our community program at JFK, is how do we level the playing field? How do we make sure that businesses, students, residents, workers have access, are aware of these opportunities? The fact that you learned about this mirror by seeing a new JFK at the airport, that's perfect, right? Because we were very intentional in having the wraps around the airport that said a new JFK coming soon, right? So, you need to put your best foot forward, because at the end of the day, we are looking for the best, most qualified businesses. And, we are looking to also make sure that our airport, JFK Airport, the gateway to this country, reflects the diversity of this country, of this city, and of this borough, right? And so
that's part of our mission, is create that opportunity. And once you create that opportunity, I have no doubt that the businesses will thrive, right? And you heard about it this evening. So really excited to have all of you joining the airport concessions family in many different ways and shapes. That's the other point I'll just make is, I think one of you said it as well. You may have one idea of how to be a success, but don't shut yourself off to other ideas, other pathways, right? Who thought that being a concessionaire meant only operating a concession space at JFK Airport, right? But as you came to these events and you learned about opportunities, I see Monisha is like nodding because this is your learning process too, right? Like, you could be a joint venture partner, you could be a licensing, you can do a small business kiosk, you can be an operator, there's so many different pathways. But our mission, like I said, was creating that awareness and that opportunity and making it accessible. And so I'm so proud of all of you, and we're taking small steps to make JFK truly reflective of the community. So congratulations to all of you, and congratulations to you, Rachel, and to the entire outreach team for the amazing job that you've done tonight, but also that you've done over many years to create this opportunity for the community. Thank you very much. Oh, this is why I need notes. So, we've heard a lot about funding, and we know it's a challenge. And, it took us some time, but I'm so excited that it probably at the end of next week, the end of next week, we're going to be making a big announcement with someone that everyone in this room hopefully knows, Hope Knight, who is the former head of the Greater Jamaica Development Corporation, now the president and CEO of Empire State Development Corporation, overseeing economic development across the state. But she came from Greater Jamaica. And we're going to be announcing a fund that will provide low-cost capital for businesses seeking concessions opportunities at JFK and at LaGuardia. When I say low cost, I mean we're talking under 10%. We're talking 5, 6, 7, 8%. And this is for businesses looking for joint venture opportunities.
Since reaction.
Looking for joint venture opportunities, for direct operator opportunities, but also if you're looking more for capital to help with inventory purchases, right, or things like that to support your business, that program will also be part of this announcement. So stay tuned. Little preview. But it's so great that New York State Governor Hochul, Hope Knight, they are stepping up because this is a need. And it took us a little time to get here, but I'm so excited that we'll be making this really incredible announcement next week. So stay tuned.
Thank you so much, Hirsch. And we have teamwork here. I'm going to call Tosh to give the final announcement and also to conclude this because she's done all of the amazing work here. She's getting honored this week, everyone. Power woman of Queens.
All right. Good evening. Good night. Thank you all for attending our JFK Black History Month event. Just a few events that we have coming up is our CHC, the JFK Redevelopment Community Advisory Council, is March 6th. Thank you. At the. Did you need notes to see?
Someone flip to that slide on the screen on this.
Edward Davis Center in St. Albans, right off of Farmers Boulevard. Also, we have a few watch and learns coming up for anybody that wants to come out where we link aviation to animation in partnership with the New York Metro Black Pots Association. And then just keep check on our website at New JFK for the rest of the events. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Tosh. It's been a pleasure working with you all. And this concludes our panel for tonight. I know that we did not have the chance to ask any questions, but you'll have the time to network and connect with the panelists one-on-one. And thank you, everyone, for coming. Get home safely.